Welcome back to Appeal to Truth. I don't remember where we left off exactly, but why not? Let's get back to it, shall we? Oh, the enthusiasm is cute. Not you two. The best conclusions are only found when considered from all angles. I won't let such a hole-laden theory fly past my radar. Ironic, isn't it? You've been backing the words of your client this whole time. And now they're the block in your road forward. Huh? Apollo. It's not that hard to figure out where he's going. Why is everyone demeaning me? When is it my turn to demean me? Not only did Mr. Rails testify to seeing her on the train that day, but so did your client. Both said they saw her as the arrest was made. Ah, Perun. It can't be denied. She had to be in the cargo car when the train crashed. Denying that's like denying that the sky is blue. Are you trying to say the sky isn't blue, Mr. Justice? Stop putting words in my mouth. I'd never say something like that. But it's an established fact of the case. That's what you're saying. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Coffee can be changed and altered in many ways, but at its core is always bean and hot water. Turn your eyes from it if you like, but the fact still remains. Are you trying to be helpful again? Look, it sounds like you can't dispute the fact that she was in the cargo car when the police arrived. But she had to be outside at some point in order for my theory to work. And the testimony supports that. Huh? Just take a deep breath and think about it. She told us about the second intercom announcement, but not the first. She was outside the train shortly after the crash occurred. But inside it, when Mr. Pearl was in Mr. Rails' custody. That's not possible. Rule number 1 of the courtroom. There's no place for those 3 words here in these halls. Fair enough. Mr. Rails, I'd like to confirm something with the court. You said in your testimony earlier you couldn't recall with accuracy whose tickets you took that day. Just that they were regulars. Yes? You spent the rest of the time in the locomotive, right? Yes? Miss Pearl. Can you recall a time you saw the witness on the stand right now while you were on the train? Did you only see her as you were being arrested? Look, I know you want to win, but you really shouldn't be using the words of your client in a court of law. It's okay, I just need to clear up some doubt for the kid. Can you do that for me, ma'am? I know for sure she was there when I was arrested. There were a lot of passengers when I first boarded the train. I tried to keep to myself, so I didn't pay attention to anyone other than Olive. I was so sure she had to be on the train. I saw Mr. Rails get her from the cargo car. You didn't see her at any other time? I mean, I saw a few people with brown hair, but I don't remember everyone. I don't think I can say for sure I saw her. Does that clear up your doubts for you? I guess it might be possible she was only on the train. Don't give me that. Don't give me might be possible. You can do this. Don't worry about how absurd it is. Now show the court a way she could have gotten into that cargo car. Incorrect. Correct. Okay, I know this sounds a little ridiculous, but more confident. I mean, there's a way she could have gotten into that cargo car from the outside the train. Was that too much? Maybe a little. Well, even the most elite of canines becomes an old dog eventually. But don't old dogs remember their old tricks? Less metaphors, more emotional support, please. Stop looking at them. You presented the evidence. Sorry, Your Honor. Go on now. Show us how she got in. Right. It's in this diagram here. It's not exactly the cargo car, but they should have the same layout. According to the other diagram. So I think it'll do. Take a look here, Your Honor. The emergency exit. I mean, it's a small possibility. I don't know how she'd get onto the train, but it's a way in. Look at the diagram. The handles make it pretty clear the escape hatch can be opened from both sides. So, she could have dropped into the car somehow. Tut tut. Did you even do the basic research, Mr. Justice? Of course I did. Alright then, pop quiz. Why did the prosecutor, that would be me, rule out the emergency exit as a possible escape route? Because it was too high up? This isn't the crime scene, this is the cargo car. So the witness opens the escape exit from the top of the train, drops down inside. And then what? The hatch would still be wide open. Even if we assume that she just so happened to teleport on top of the train that day, it's still impossible. There's no way she could have gotten through the hatch without leaving it wide open for us to find. But there has to be some way. She's the best suspect we have, and she had to have caused the crash, right? The only way the train doors open at the outside is if Mr. Rails pushes a button on his end. The normal doors are pretty much out. Even if it's absurd, the emergency exit is the only way in or out I can think of. She had to have been able to close it somehow. She's right, don't back down. Mr. DeBest, there actually was a way this witness could have closed the hatch. I hope. Oh, really? You're not looking so confident now. I'm sure of this! Ah! Fine, no need to yell. Sorry, I'm not confident. I'm just really confident. Absolutely confident. Well then, how was she able to close the hatch? Strap hanger? Wolf! This is how the hatch was shut! She could have easily reached it. If you take this into account... am I wrong again? On the contrary, Mr. Justice, you're completely right. Uh-oh? This evidence is exactly what we need to close the hatch. What would be yours, Mr. Justice? You guys put way too much effort into being mean to me. I don't hear silence. I'm not closing my eyes because of your lame wordplay, thank you very much. I still think it has to do with the strap hanger. It's just not that. Am I wrong again? Yeah. Okay, you have to do a bit more lateral thinking, but she testified that she had shipments of flowers, so I'm guessing the assumption is that she could stand on crates or shit and do it. I think you're the one who didn't do basic research on this case, Mr. DeBest. Excuse me? It really is elementary. Did you forget why your witness is involved in this mess in the first place? Miss Shears was shipping crates of flowers to the village. I mean, makes sense that that's the assumption. Maybe I'm just not remembering crates of flowers being mentioned specifically, but it makes sense. It's not listed in the evidence for her testimony. She's just shipment of flowers in the cargo car. But it makes sense to assume that, I guess. Could have easily climbed atop her shipment to reach the hatch and close it. Can't deny it, however small the possibility, there was a way in and out. Darn it! How could something so basic slip through my mind? Who cares if it's possible? Dear, you're really getting way too caught up in this. I know people go on and on about how having a good imagination can benefit you. There comes a point when you have to let an idea go. I know you really want to connect me to this, but you have to settle on a consistent theory, dear. So you think I parkoured onto a moving train somehow? Seems reasonable to me. Or perhaps I jumped from the station's canopy onto the train. I'm sure nobody would have heard that. Listen, I know you're doing your best for the girl, but at least try to make your argument make sense. Either I was on the train or I wasn't. There's no way I could have gotten near it from the station, much less on top of it. You've got to commit to one. Did I do your cover-up at the station? Was I on the train? Hurry up and figure it out. There had to be a way for you to get on the train from the station. You're only saying there had to be because you desperately want your theory to work. Look, I understand. You've committed yourself so much to this theory of yours, it just works for you. Care about it a little. Just because it means something to you doesn't mean it's what's best for this courtroom, lawyer boy. What if I can prove that it is? But I guess you've got to learn one way or another. Right ahead, Mr. Justice. Show me your best cross-examination. Okay. I never said anything like that. Oh, did I fly then? No. Teleport? What? Kid, don't bother. She's just trying to get a rise out of you. Not sure I'd like admitting it, but you probably have a point. Even the most pathological liars will sometimes tell the truth. A good man can recognize that and know when to listen. So that's supposed to be a reassurance. It sounded like one to me. Let's move on, shall we? I love what's happened with the Godot. I love it. I promise you I'm not proposing anything like that. Oh, you aren't? I was sure you were. Why'd I bother trying to get more information out of her? Gotta hand it to her, she was right. Pursuing this line of logic has come at your dignity's expense. It's because she won't take anything I say seriously. Besides, you guys are part of this too. I'm not the only one who should be worrying about my dignity. I don't even belong to this world. I don't see why it's my problem. If you give me a cup of coffee and I make some lame metaphors, will everyone stop picking on me? Probably not. Oh, poor Paul. What do you care about my client? You're the one who's testifying against her. Calm down, calm down. Weren't you ever told about using your indoor voice? I'm not 5. Then you should understand why I'm up here. Would you rather be alive for her sake, like the old man did? Your clients put their faith in your defense, right? If she's innocent, that's your job to prove, not mine. Making it kind of difficult, you know. I'm just making sure you have your facts straight. You're the only one who could have done the cover-up outside. Okay, so I was outside the train. My client and Mr. Rails saw you in the back car. So I was inside the train. No, it had to be both. Oh, is the little lawyer having a hard time figuring it out? So sad. You're as great as Cypress. Nope, don't want to hear it. Trying something else now. It wasn't going to be an insult. Well, I guess it sort of worked as encouragement. Trying something else! But the evidence suggests both are true. Evidence? Honey, the only evidence you have is a stray fingerprint on my train ticket. You spent the rest of the time pointing out some vague possibilities. What about your testimony earlier? What else explains why you forgot to mention such a simple fact of that day's events? Evidence is everything in a court of law. I can understand how you came to your suspicions. I'm not going to let you accuse the witness of anything on the theory alone. Oh, what a sweet prosecutor sticking up for me. How nice. Actually, maybe I'll cut the defense a bit more slack. That's not how it works, Mr. DeBest. Alright, I will. Kid, you're supposed to back up a statement like that with action. I'm sorry. Totally making a fool of us, aren't I? It's okay, I'm sure you'll come up with something. There's no rush. Unless His Honor decides that there is. Big encouraging. Maybe she's right. I mean, my theory sounds really unlikely. And I can't think of a way she got on top of the train. No, I don't think you have enough information to figure that bit out yet. Still, I wouldn't abandon the theory entirely. Maybe there's something else I can prove? Maya trusted you with this case. I'm sure we'll be able to see this through to the end. Oh, thanks. That's good to hear. You're really gonna need a better poker face if you're going to keep being a lawyer. I'm not that easy to read. I'm just gonna take a stab at this. Objection! The crash report. You push the pillar over to get on top of the train. What is it? It's where you could have gotten near the train. It's nowhere near where I need you to be. Go ahead, Mr. Justice. Passage from the station to the train is at the very center of this case. In fact, it's the very thing that caused this crime in the first place. You mean the support beam? Call the state of the crime scene. Oh, wasn't there the first crash? And then a second crack? Oh shit. The first crash was the pillar falling over, the second crack was the pillar cracking. Probably when someone tried to climb it? The beam destroyed almost the whole length of the car's side. There's more than enough room for someone to fit through. Huh. Idiot boy, did you forget? The beam was electrified. Sorry, Miss Shears, but I'm not that forgetful. It still would have been possible to cross that beam. Really? Please take a closer look at the diagram, Your Honor. Huh. The beam again. Did you bring up something to this effect yesterday? Yes, I believe we have made a point about how the beam had snapped in two. Something about how it would create more than one loud noise. Exactly. It isn't about noise this time. It's about this. False. I'm going to shove paper in my face. At least show me something significant in this case. God, give you one more chance. How many times have you said that phrase over the last few days? A lot. I suppose I can give it to you for humility's sake. Alright. Nope, I have 2 chances left. Okay. No. No. Oh, it's the weird extra rail thing. Oh, okay. That's the 3rd rail, Your Honor. Looks more like the 1st rail to me. The way you count them doesn't matter. What's important is that it's the source of the train's electricity. But only 1/2 of the beam is touching the rail, right? Ergo, there was a period of time before the beam split that it wasn't electrified. Okay. Or someone could have walked across it. Well, it's certainly possible. It doesn't put her anywhere near the cargo car. In fact, it puts her in the crime scene. Oh. Wait, it does? Given her connection to Mr. Season, I understand why you're so insistent she was involved in this setup. But now you're practically connecting her to the crime itself. Are you sure she got into the train that way? I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead. You said there was no way she could get near the train, and I disproved it. She had to have been at the station at first. And she got to the train somehow. Placing me at the crime scene. Are you trying to accuse me of murder now, too? Your argument's all over the place. You don't have evidence of anything. She's right. But you had to have been involved in the setup somehow. Whether you're a murderer or not. That just makes sense. You're the only person close enough to Mr. Seasons. And now I've proven there's a possibility someone could have gotten in the train from outside. Who had some role in this crime, I'm sure of it. Are you really so sure someone crossed that way? Think it over a good few times. Go on now. I think someone could have. Really? Really? Are you hearing this, folks? He thinks I would risk crossing that beam. Don't listen to this theory, it's so stupid. Why'd I risk killing myself? These idiots are seriously going with this. Perhaps allowing him to say this. No one's objecting. They're actually accepting this. Listen up, child. Oh, hello. There's no way anyone crossed that beam. It just doesn't make sense. Not me, not the murderer. Nobody. Oh my god, your fucking hat. What kind of plant is that? Look, we all agree this murder was premeditated one way or another, yes? I think you'd need a reality check, dear, because the simple fact makes your theory impossible. But they would risk doing something that dangerous. Please, go ahead and tell me. And if they wanted to kill poor Olive with their heart, with all their heart, a fatal shock would make them think twice. Even if it wasn't electrified at first, the beam could have snapped at any moment they were crossing over it. Any rational person would wait for another opportunity. Who would make a plan with so many risks involved? Oh, she's got a point. A really, really good point. Because why'd you have to be insane to try something like that? She just looked insane to me, I don't know. She was cuter with her hat on. It has to be premeditated, right? They bring the conductor back to the stand, he was more fun. Where's that red guy's evidence? You aren't willing to stand behind the bench. Don't speak ill of another attorney. That's one of my rules. Okay, but can I keep talking? No. In whispers. Thanks. Still, I'm not even sure how to start countering her argument. Man's not allowed to doubt himself until he's exhausted all possibilities. That's another one of my rules. Do you have a list of rules I should be aware of? Just get to work, will you? I'm not sure how much longer I can stand here. Not because of you, just to be clear. It's just get to it. Done. Alright, boss. That would pretty much undermine anything I said today if I said otherwise. See, you can speak with sense if you give it your best effort. I'm proud of you. Please, don't be. Oh, you're so modest. We need more people like you. Come on now, manners. Thank you. I can't hear you. Let's stop making fun of the defense for one day, Miss Shears. Oh, are you jealous I'm doing your job? That's... It's not impossible. Just highly unlikely. But the possibility is still there? Whether it's there or not, it's a possibility you have no proof of. The one that I doubt would be considered in a premeditated murder. There are too many ways it could go wrong. Why don't we name some? Oh, alright, let's see. What if the beam crashed into the wrong car? What if it didn't make a hole big enough for our theoretical murderer to get through? What if the beam hadn't created such a convenient locked room? Oh? You want to make a contribution now? But I could come up with more holes in the theory than you could. Why do you always have to make such a big show of your counter-arguments like this? Why don't you tell me? Okay. Nobody would do something that dangerous. Okay, I don't know why I thought that would help. When I don't take the bait, I still feel like an idiot. Don't let her get to you, Apollo. Just focus on the testimony for now. Maybe they really needed the murder to happen. Like if they didn't kill the victim would have killed them later that day. They had no choice. And where is your evidence of that? I rescind my theory. Maybe there was something worse than fatal shock at risk that day. Huh. Mean I'm onto something? Sorry, I'm just speculating. We don't really have any evidence on this witness's motives right now, do we? Don't get my hopes up like that. It's an interesting thought. How would they know that? As far as they knew, the beam could have been perfectly sturdy. You're right, you're right. The beam crashes straight into a still-moving train car and creates a giant wreck. Rubble falling everywhere, the train probably still having momentum. Let's run across it is an idea that would totally come to mind. We don't know the killer's state of mind. They couldn't have been totally insane, considering this elaborate setup you're proposing. It sounds like they had to have had something worthwhile in that head on their shoulders. But, it just makes up a good point, Justice. I won't hear any more buts from you. You've been grasping at straws for a bit too long for my tastes. Sorry, Your Honor. Okay. What other opportunity would there have been? Oh, you're right, there's not many, huh? A low-tiered community member at a small, isolated, middle-of-nowhere village. If I really wanted to kill her and I was outside the train, well, I'd be dying to get inside. Witness, those are all reasons why you would want to wait until later. Yes, that's the point. Good job, dear. Oh, right. It's okay, it's okay. You can stop with the sad puppy dog eyes. You're doing just fine. But she's not meeting me this time. I'll take it. You would. Maybe? Or... someone you were working with? Oh, how horrible I am. Look at me, Your Honor. He's all but proved my actions. I'm so sorry. Will you take these flowers as an apology? Actually, those look quite nice. I'm sure my wife would love them. I'm sure she would. extra special care raising these. Oh my, they smell wonderful. Of course they do. Can we save the business transactions for after the trial, please? I second the defense's motion. Though my boss always keeps flowers in that one vase on his office. Wonder if he would like. After the trial! Right, sorry. Not you too. I didn't say anything. What's this? A lot of objections, lawyer boy. I can't think of anything. You're right. Nobody would plan something like that. Huh. Finally, child, you've seen the light. It's okay, we all have to get used to failure one way or another. Your Honor, can you tell me with a straight face that the defense's so-called plan is anything more than speculative nonsense? Given the evidence presented earlier in this trial, I feel like there was some sort of setup we were missing. But you're right. The defense has presented no actual evidence that you had anything to do with it. Thank you, Your Honor. It was fun, lawyer boy. I'm sure I'll see your cute face around again. Well then, I'll be going.
Objection!
Oh, pardon me, Miss Shears. What? Sorry, it's not about the case. Mr. Godot? Calm down, old man. I just want to ask Miss Green Thumb for a favor. You'll help a crippled shell of a man, won't you? Just a little favor. How much are your flowers? Well, what? Oh, the flowers. That reminds me. My wife. Are we really going through with this? Well, you suggested it to His Honor. What do you think someone with expensive tastes would like? Do you have any suggestions? Well, you have a catalog? Not that I don't appreciate a bit of business, but let's just, let's make this quick, boys. Of course. Here, let's exchange business cards. Here. This one's mine. I think I have some somewhere. What are we? On elbow. Hush. It's buying you time. Oh. Sorry. We're trying to figure out why Mr. Godot would want to buy flowers. He hardly takes care of our office plant. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Ahem. I meant, oh. You should keep it to a maybe you should keep it at a whisper. You specifically. Sorry. I need to figure out a way to refute her logic. How? She's a point. Nobody would make a plan like that. Then she didn't. There's no way it wasn't premeditated. With the T and the screws. There had to be a plan, but she didn't make it. Isn't that a contradiction? Not necessarily. There was a plan, but nobody was walking over that beam. Of course. That's the only way it makes sense. Shh, don't get too excited. Sorry. Do you think we'll need to figure out the original plan if we want to move forward? I was about to say. Right, but if she wasn't going to get into the train, why set everything up outside it? Unless there's another way in I didn't think of. We already tried that. Focus on the why. Why the setup if she wouldn't be on the train? Okay. Why would she set up the crime if she wasn't going to be near it? Why set up the crime if she wasn't going to be near it? Here, this is the explanation we've been looking for. Uh-oh, we're shouting. Your Justice, what are you shouting about? Nothing. Mr. Best, what flowers were we talking about? Lily, what was that again? Made me forget what I wanted. Okay, sorry. actually save? Yeah, I did. Why set up the train? She wasn't gonna be there. Incorrect. Okay, so... answer has to do with Olive. She had to have an accomplice, it's the only way. One person we have evidence for is the victim. We still don't know much about her. If we figure out her motive, we'll be able to figure out what their objective was. There's one thing we know for sure. What? What do we know for sure? She's dead? Clean info from her with this. Thought we might be able to? We must have thought of a pretty creative method. Let me try again. She wanted to do a channeling. We put Mr. DeBest said at the beginning of the trial. As you may know, the Fake Clan has been subject to several power struggles in the past. We touched on it briefly in the previous trial in regards to our victim. But the prosecution would like to go into more detail. Earlier yesterday, I collected all the documentation I could find about such disputes. As you can see, they can get quite grisly. It is quite a large file. We can't say much for certain about the victim. She was a low-ranking member of the Branch family. We have evidence that she might have held resentment against the main bloodline. It's possible the victim had a grudge against the main family. We know for sure she lost her family after, after my mother disgraced the clan. This plan had to be targeting Pearl, right? It's the only thing that makes sense. Why target her and not Maya? I think I know. Do we have evidence of that one time Pearl? Is it this again? Pearl betrayed them. She was their one chance to get back at the main family. As far as they knew, she threw it all away. I don't know the full extent of your guy's history. This is the motive. It was rooted in something that happened years ago. You'd have to be the type to hold grudges. Victim, and somehow this witness. I think they might have been after Pearl from the start. Besides, wouldn't hurting Pearl hurt Maya too? Maya can't lose anyone else. This is their motive. Would either of them know about the incident in the first place? The last time, asters are usually purple and their petals tend to be closer together. Daisies are usually white and they tend to be more symmetrical. I don't care which ones you buy. My bad. Maybe I'll just go for the bouquet after all. What's the difference between the spring and fall theme once again? Consider this transaction over. What about me? I'll get your flowers delivered later, Your Honor, okay? Well, I did what I could. I know you're not exactly tactful, but geez, what did you do? Just a few questions. Sounds like it was quite a bit more than a few. Can I leave now, Your Honor? Huh? Oh, right. Yes, I'm sorry for keeping you. Finally. Really? Miss Shears, you're not going anywhere. Because there's still something you have to tell us. You need to tell us about your accomplice. Oh, you're right, Miss Shears. Nobody would plan to cross that beam. We never intended to be on that train in the first place. That's why your accomplice bought a ticket for you, so you'd have an alibi. The victim. Well, Miss Shears, why don't you tell us all about the plan you and Miss Knott had made for that day? I'm sure the court would love to hear it. What? I'm an accomplice to some conspiracy now because of some stray fingerprints. Your Honor, I already said we were done here. The defense doesn't have proof of anything, especially not proof of some conspiracy against their client. about that? Oh, hi, Gumshoe. Where the fuck did you come from? Detective! Good timing. Oh, thank you. Anyway, I took a look into the detention center's visitor record, like you asked. There was a name related to the case there. I only visited a few times, but the records prove it. The victim was in contact with Pearl's mother. Said there was no proof of a conspiracy, Miss Shears. But the very woman whose fingerprints were on your ticket. That was someone who plotted against the main family. So what? Just because she met with a woman doesn't mean she was in on anything. Morgan was a high-ranking member of the Branch family. Not weird that they'd meet once or twice. Huh. It's funny. Sometimes we get so caught up in singular moments in time that we forget that the clock keeps moving. Miss Shears, I don't recall the court ever mentioning that woman's name. I visit Fay Village all the time. Of course I'd know a little bit about it. Miss Shears, you gave me your business card earlier. See here. It says here that you've been delivering flowers since 2018. That was after my aunt was ousted from the clan. Uh-oh. There's no way you should know that much about Maya's clan. What does it matter to you, child? Besides, if your made-up conspiracy was against your client, then why would my so-called accomplice end up dead? Something went wrong. It had to. By accident? It's simple, really. You turned her back on your little plan, didn't she? That's why you killed her. What? So I'm the murderer now? Is that what you want to say? Yara, this is absurd. Don't you think, dear? You're in charge of this courtroom. You can't just let the little ones do whatever they like. Wait, what you said earlier? So what if I know a bit about the clan history? Your business partner. It's only smart to do a bit of research, right? Don't the defense take advantage of your excitement, Your Honor? I guess there are other ways you could know about the history of the clan. Not as if it was kept out of the news. Besides, the prosecution and defense just said this whole thing had roots in... how long ago? Before 2018. That was forever ago. Why would anyone be dedicated to a crazy plot that long just to betray it? Why do you keep giving me these prompts out of nowhere? Jesus Christ. Are you using this again? No. Take a look, Miss Shears. Darling, you had such a serious face earlier, it was almost scary. It was almost like you knew what you were doing. Did I mess up? Take a guess, Mr. Justice. Fair enough. Let's... time to rewind. So the channeling record was either part of the way to lure Pearl into the attempted death trap, or the reason that Olive turned on the plan. Try that. False. This is another one that kind of makes sense in context, but out of context, I'm not sure how you'd get there. Curating pamphlet. You finally get to use it, because things today are nothing like they were decades ago. I mean, I could tell you that, Mr. Justice. I've been alive for many decades. I meant in more than just a general sense, Your Honor. Take a look at this heading here, when you unfold it. The one in red glitter. Fey Clan Resurgence. Over the last year alone, channeling requests have increased by 200%. Until this influx of requests leads the clan to a new era of prosperity. It elevates spirit channeling in the public eye. I see! The clan is recovering under Miss Fey's leadership. Of course the victim was having second thoughts. She lived in the clan, after all. This was her last chance to back out. Please, even if what you're saying is true, there's still no reason to take that kind of risk. We're still talking about an electrified beam here. To take that risk. Maybe there was something worse than fatal shock at risk that day. Huh. I mean, I'm onto something. I'm sorry, I'm just speculating. We're coming back to this, alright. We don't really have any evidence on this witness's motives right now, do we? maybe. Something else I'd like to ask about, if you don't mind. Go ahead. One of the witnesses said that it was the victim who wanted to meet with you in that train car, right? Mm-hmm. She told me she had something she wanted to talk about, in private. Monsieur, did you notice anything about the victim's disposition that day? Too little. How would I put it? Nervous? Yes, I think she was nervous. She was planning on backing out of the plan. Miss Faye, do you think? The victim might have been planning to confess her involvement. That put any of her co-conspirators in danger. Sorry to interrupt your little theory session. I just want to make your argument clear to the courtroom. Yes, that'd help. I believe I missed a few things. That's because you were busy ordering flowers, Your Honor. And just to be clear, I think the victim and this witness conspired to kill your client together. Miss Shears worked outside the train to give it to witnesses and caused the crash. And Miss Knott bought a ticket to give Miss Shears an alibi. Was supposed to attack your client during the crash. She wasn't going to go through with the plan. The witness had to figure out a way to take matters into her own hands. Yeah, that makes sense. Tisk, tisk. I'm afraid it doesn't make as much sense as you'd like it to, Mr. Justice. Witness still can't fly, and she's also not a psychic. Once again, I never said any of those things. And how, pray tell, did she know the victim wasn't going through with her plan? I didn't think about that bit. Come on, Apollo, you can do this. There'll be a way she knew, right? Bring the proof she could have figured out the victim intended to betray her. That's it. There's one contradiction you still haven't explained, Mr. DeBest. That's the position of the night. Oh no, coming back to this. The victim never planned to participate in the murder that day. She might have left the dagger behind. Your suspect found the dagger still in her hat. Oh, okay. See, that's better. When we stand on the border between success and failure, even the smallest of pushes feels like the greatest of waves. Little stray evidence would be more than enough to help grow the seed of doubt in a large oak. You saw she hadn't brought the murder weapon with her, so you brought it along yourself. Apollo, I was just waiting for Apollo. Smash desk. What he said. You couldn't risk her telling Pearl you'd helped conspire in a past murder plot after all. With a knife you could easily take someone out and frame the other party to get rid of both of them. The court hasn't come up with any other explanation for why the knife was pointing the wrong way. Other than it being planted. You really think you've proven anything? Let's face it, you've been avoiding the most obvious problem with your logic this whole time. It's about time we addressed it. Poorly intended logic. Alright, so maybe you can connive a reason as to why I'd take such a risk. Don't you remember why we're all accusing little Pearl in the first place? The doors were locked tight with the power out. Would have been stuck in there. The beam electrified, there was no way out, plain and simple. So how, pray tell, did I end up in the cargo car? Tell me, boy. You've left these glaring contradictions in your argument for so long. Makes me wonder if you even have a... That's enough from you. Ignore her, kid. This is your last hurdle. Figure this out and you've proven the possibility of a third party. That's what you'd want in a case like this, isn't it? Of course. Well then, show me what you can do. Thanks, Dad. Paul looks over at his co-counsel. Dad? Mom? Thanks. You would have proof of it. Oh yes, visitor's records from someone not connected to me, and some fingerprints. Fingerprints you haven't given us any explanation for. She had to have bought them for you. Sounds like a waste of money to me. What does money have to do with this? Ooh, I'm such a poor florist. I'll get up with that if you'd like. Gumshoe, no. What? Gumshoe, am I going to have to forego your pay raise this month? Sorry, sir. Oh my god. Now I'm imagining that their relationship is just, Simon... It's just... Oh god, Simon, please. You're making Gumshoe too powerful. We're not all accusing Pearl anymore. Oh, sorry. Just there's only one option. Opinion that really matters here. Right, Your Honor? Oh, I guess so. Say it with pride, you're very important, dear. It's our job to manipulate the judge's opinion, not yours. I don't like when you put things so plainly like that, Mr. Invest. Sorry. And you're sure there's no way to open those doors? Well, you can tell me if there wasn't. Just as the doors have been a central factor of this case this whole time. Don't tell me you waited this long to point out something wrong with them. I might have, or of course not. Obviously I don't have anything, Your Honor. I mean, if I knew about something that case bringing, I'd bring it up way earlier, right? Yes, I'd hope you would have. There had to be an alternate exit. I think you've already found 2 out of the 3 possibilities. I doubt you can find a third. Well, isn't there a possibility you reuse one of my out there possibilities? Sure, I ran back over it now, electrified beam. Or I jumped several feet, all the way up to that emergency exit, of course. Why don't you tell me, which way did I take to get out? Trying to bait me into saying something I don't have any evidence to back up. Think carefully as to whether or not I want to risk this. Possible Miss Shears used one of the ways out we previously mentioned. We could say she used the emergency exit and she used the strap hanger to do it, but... I'll back off for now. Oh, don't want to say anything, do you? Well, no skin off my back. No need to pray, I'll tell you. Oh, how cute. Tried a cool one-liner. Did you all hear that? Those one-liners have been worse than mine. The envious always have the most to say. I'm not envious of your one-liners. I'm envious of how they react to them. Envious as envy does. What does that even mean? What's wrong? Even if we can figure this out, I still don't feel like we have any evidence that proves it. Spent so much time just trying to show a possibility. The theory itself isn't very strong. One step at a time, Apollo. We've got to know if it was possible first. I'm sure you're onto something. You saw her reaction earlier. We almost have this all figured out. Worry about proving it later, okay? So more theory crafting next time.